Hello all. Before starting the session, I'll give you a quick recap on data dictionary tables what we have created. So, what is the transaction code to create the data dictionary tables?
SC11.
SC11. So, what is data dictionary? Data dictionary is an interface to manage the database objects like tables, views, structures. We do not log in or we do not go into the database to create any database objects. We use a interface or a tool called data dictionary, right, in a ABAP environment to create the database tables. Whatever the tables we are creating in SC11, so where it's going to actually we are creating it, the actual creation we are doing it in the database level. Okay, so whatever you create in the data dictionary, the table will be created in the backend database. Okay, so we are using data dictionary as an interface to access the database, right, without directly going into the database system. Okay, is everyone clear on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
So whatever the table you create in background, it may generate some SQL statement to create the table, but you do not need to worry about it. Okay, system will take care of it. Only thing you need to do is select the table properties, technical settings, provide the columns, provide the primary keys, and create the table. So it will automatically create the table in backend database. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so why you need to create a table?
To store the data.
To store the data. So in which scenario we create custom tables in SAP? If SAP provided standard tables and functionalities are not suitable for our current requirement, then we go for custom objects, including custom programs and backend custom tables. Okay, is everyone clear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
clear, sir.
Okay. We'll check the tables what we have created. Sorry, in the previous sessions we created two tables. One is ZDemo employee. So we consider this table as a master data table where we are going to maintain the employee master data. Okay. So here the primary key is employee ID, right? And the rest of the attributes we have. So how we have assigned the data type here by using built-in tag. Please observe here. We assign the data type using built-in tag, right? Character 10 and the description we have provided. These three details we have provided, right? Data type, length, and description. Yes or no? Again,
Yes.
Yes,
we
sir.
created a different table for employee salary. Display it. What details we provided here? Same employee ID, corresponding
Salary.
data type, length, and employee description of the column. We repeated for every column, right? So, did we reuse whatever the data type description provided in the employee master table? Just we did we reuse it in the employee salary table?
No.
No.
We did not reuse, but we entered the same details again, right? We did not reuse the data type, length, and short description. We entered again manually, right?
Yes, sir.
For example, developer 1 creating the master data table and developer 2 creating the employee salary table. So what is the common field between both tables? Employee ID, right?
Yes, sir.
So developer
Yes.
1 Developer 1 may have given this data type as character 10 and the description as employee ID. Developer 2 might have give data type char length 15 and a different short description. Is it possible or not?
Yes, sir.
That is possible because two different developers are working on two different tables. So they might give different details in the different tables for the same column, right? That is not consistent, right? So employee ID throughout the system, employee ID should have specific data type and specific length and specific description throughout the system, whatever the table we are using, right? So we should not provide different details in different tables for the same column. In one table, you take character 10, and in the other table, you might take number 10 because employee ID can be a number also, right? So you can take number 10. That is not consistent, right? Throughout that all the tables because we are storing same information in multiple tables, that is employee ID, but we are taking different data types. That is not recommended. Even providing different descriptions, that is not recommended. So if we use built-in type by directly giving data type length and description, what is the disadvantage? No reusability. We are not reusing the existing details available, right? Again, we are giving manually in all the tables, right? And consistency is another disadvantage. So in one table you might have given a specific data type and length. In the other table you might have given different data type and length. That's not consistent, right? If you take simple employee ID as example, so we should maintain database objects consistently throughout the system with specific data type and specific length. To improve the reusability and consistency, we use a concept called data domains and data elements. So whenever we create the tables, so to assign data type and length, we do not use built-in types. That is not recommended. Okay, we use a concept called domains and data elements. So what is a domain? Domain defines technical properties of the table field. We can also call technical attributes of the table field. Okay, so domain defines technical attributes of the table field. What are the technical attributes of the field? What are the
Type,
technical attributes? Data type,
data type, and
length,
length.
right? And decimal places. So these are the technical attributes. Okay, data type, length, decimal places, right? We have few other options. We'll see while we are creating domain. Okay. What are the properties we are going to give in the domain? Data type, length,
length,
decimal places, fixed values, use comma, and case sensitive. We have observed one issue, right? While we are creating records into the database table, whatever the
yes, sir.
values you enter, it is converting into
Okay.
which case? Uppercase by default, right? So to control it, to control that behavior, right? What is the option we have?
Yes, yes.
We have case sensitive option. Okay, case sensitive option where we can now fix certain like whatever the data you entered. If you enter in the uppercase, it will accept in the uppercase. If you enter in the lowercase, it will accept in the lowercase. If you enter in the mixed case, right, it should accept as it is, right? To fix that property, we use a domain property, whatever the option in domain, case sensitive option in domain. Okay, let's create a domain. Let's take these examples. Let's take these tables as examples. First, we'll take employee master table as example. We'll convert this table. Sorry, not convert, but we replace these built-in data types with the data element and domain concept. Okay, data element and domain concept. Let's create a domain. How to create a domain? Go to
SC11.
S11. What details we are providing in the domain? Data type, length, decimal places, and few other properties like case sensitive option and fixed values and value ranges. What do you mean by fixed values and value ranges? For example, there is a field called city. I want to fix few values for the city so that user can use only those values. It's kind of restriction. Only South Indian cities I need to select or I need to consider so that I can provide these specific cities in the domain level as fixed values. Our value ranges will be for numerical values, but we use fixed values for some any city or weeks, months. If you want to fix these values, for example, if you take a month as a column, so there we fix month from January to December as fixed values in the domain level so that we can select only those months, right? We should, like user should not be able to select 13 as a month, right? You can control that behavior in the fixed values option in domain. Let's create a domain. So you need to select this option, domain option. Provide a name. What is the rule in SAP when creating a custom object?
Compulsory start with
Starts with Z.
Z or
So
Y.
for which column we are creating the domain? First, we are creating it for employee ID. Okay. Let's follow some naming convention. I'm just using Z demo. You can use your own naming conventions. For example, Z demo like this, so that you can easily find your objects, whatever the objects you are creating. Okay, everyone, please assign some naming conventions for you, starting with Z and some name like this. Okay, I'm using Z demo. Always try to assign relevant name, suitable name for the objects. For which column we are creating? employee ID, right? EMP ID. Okay, ZMO EMP ID. Create it. It will accept any name. It will accept any name, but always try to give some meaningful name. Okay, create. Provide the description of the domain. Please remember, this is not the field description, table field description. This is the description of this domain. Okay, what is the purpose of this domain? That will we are going to provide in the short description. Okay, description of the domain. What is the mandatory details we need to provide here? Data type, characters. Why it is not mandatory? There is no asterisk symbol for it. Data type is also, sorry, length is also required, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then why it is not
Yes.
mandatory here? Only they specified the data type as mandatory, not length. If you don't provide what it is saying, when I click on enter, number of positions is less than minimum number for the data type character. If you don't provide anything, right, it will take one one character by default. Okay, that's why they make it mandatory. So what is the required data type for sorry, required length for employee ID? 10. Okay. Observe one more option here. Case sensitive. Case sensitive option. If you do not select the case sensitive, it will automatically convert into uppercase. Whatever the data you enter, it will automatically convert into uppercase. If you select this case sensitive checkbox, then domain will control the behavior and it won't convert the data into uppercase. It will accept the data as it is in uppercase, lowercase, or mixed case. It's not going to convert. Okay? Is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
If you do not want to convert into uppercase by default, select this case sensitive option in the domain level. Okay? And this is internal length. This is output length. This is output length. For example, if you select data type as date, this one, dates, but automatically it is assigned internal length as 8. What is the output length?
10.
10, because in the output we display along with separator, right, in a user configured date format, right? Char 10. You can control this. If you want to reduce the output length, you can reduce the value here. Okay, even though you populated 10 characters value, when displaying it in the output, it won't display the complete value. If you, for example, if you take 5 here, okay, it will show only 5 characters in the output, but in the program level it will accept the 10 characters. Okay, sometimes in the programs, right, even though you populated the correct value, it won't display properly in the output, right? This might be the root cause. Our output length might be decreased or changed. Okay, next option, value range. Here in value range we have multiple options. One is fixed values, that is for single values. Fixed values. Intervals. Interval means range from 1 to 1000. We are fixing the limit, right? If it is a numerical value, you can use interval to fix the limit. Okay. When we go for fixed values, example is gender. If you are adding a column called gender, and when you are creating a domain for it, you can fix the values for gender, right? Because they are limited values, right? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Male, female, and others. Provide the description, right? You can fix these values because these values are limited and there is no chance of changing the values, right? Adding new values every time, right? These are fixed. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me one more example? Week, right? Week 1 to 7. Weeks are also fixed, right? They're not going to change. Yes or no? Months.
Yes, sir.
Months are also fixed. 12 months. They're not going to change. So those kind of values we can add in the fixed values. Okay? Clear? When we use intervals, for example, if you want to limit data between different ranges, 100 to 1000 and 1001 to 2000, multiple intervals also you can fix so that we can enter value between only these two ranges. Okay? And if you don't want to maintain manually, if you don't want to maintain manually in the domain level, I don't want to change the domain every time. So we have a concept called value table. We have a concept called value table. We will add a database table here, which is corresponding to this domain values. Okay, we enter values to that value table every time. Whenever we need to add a new value, we are going to add to the table, not to the domain, so that whatever the table we add here as a value table, we add entries to that value table so that it will automatically add it to the domain as well. You do not need to change the domain every time. Okay, just add new entry to a table without changing the domain, right? For example, if you are creating a domain for a field where there might be new values, or for example, if you are creating a domain for employee ID, right? Whenever a new employee joined, you don't need to go to domain and change it, right? Create a master table for employee ID and add those new employee ID to this master table, which is added as a value table here, so that it will automatically display all the new values in the possible entries. Okay, so domain in value ranges, we can add possible entries for that field. Okay, what are the possible entries for that field? For like wherever you use this domain, right? And that property will be applied to that particular column. Okay, is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
For now we are not using any value ranges, right? And I'm not selecting the case sensitive option as well for this. Now save the domain. We have provided the details, whatever the details required. Again, you need to select the proper package name in projects. For now we save it in the local object. Check the domain, no inconsistencies found, and activate the domain. So my domain is ready. Can we directly use domain in the table? No, we need a data element.
Data type.
We need a data element. So what is a data element? It defines semantic attributes. So domain defines which attributes? Technical attributes. But data element defines semantic attributes. Semantic attributes means meaning of the column, description of the column, right? Field labels, some documentation, right? Some documentation like what is the purpose of this field and is there any special properties available for this field. We can provide some documentation like some user notes for the particular column that we can define in data element. So that's why, so data element defines what type of attributes.
Separate. Matrix.
Okay, like description, field labels, documentations. Okay, let's create a data element. So description, field labels. We assign search help, F4 help. So F4 help provides, right, possible values for that column. So whenever you go to the SAP, right, you can see one F4 help for each column. So if you click on that, it will show all the possible values. Okay. So we assign now domain to a data element. Okay, we assign domain to a data element and we use that data element in the field, table field. Okay, so data element defines semantic attributes like field description, field labels, right, documentation and search helps. Now let's create a data element. To create a data element, which option we need to select? Data type option. Okay, data type option. Provide the data element name. Can we give same name as domain for the data element?
Yes. No.
We can give because both are different type of objects, right? This is a domain and this is a data element. Both are not same objects. If both are same objects, then we cannot give. But here objects are same, right? Sorry, objects are different, right? This is a data element. You can give same name for the data element also. Okay? It is not duplicating because object is different. Create. What is the option we need to select here? Data element. What details we provide here? Short description. This is the column description, field description. It's going to be reflected in the table. Whatever the description you provide here, that will be added as a column description. employee ID. Okay. Observe very carefully. After providing the column description, we have a option to provide the domain. So what is the domain you need to provide? Whatever the domain you have created in SC11, provide the domain here. It's going to automatically apply the technical attributes to this data element level, right? We are adding domain to a data element. And then again, one important interview question. Is it required to add domain in the data element? Is it required to create a domain to create a data element?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It is recommended, but is not mandatory, right? It is not mandatory. You can simply specify using built-in type. You do not need a domain. You can provide the data type and length here. You do not need a domain to create a data element. Then what? Why? Then why we need to create the domain? Why it is recommended? If we directly use built-in type, can you control the case sensitive property?
No, sir.
Can you add any fixed values for the column? Possible values for the column? We have option called value ranges in the domain that we cannot use here. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So those options we cannot utilize, and also we are not reusing the technical properties. If we directly give built-in type in the data element level, so we are not reusing the technical properties. Again, there might be a inconsistency in data type and length when we are creating data elements. So that is why we create a domain for every column. Okay. Provide the domain name. Is it mandatory to create a domain? Can we create a data element without domain?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, we can
Technical.
create. That's very important interview question. Then they'll ask, then why we need to create a domain? Because without domain, we cannot reuse the technical properties and we cannot apply case sensitive, and we cannot apply any output length, we cannot apply any conversions and value ranges and fixed values. All those options we are not able to utilize. We directly use built-in types. Okay. Now, I've provided the domain name. Next, go to further characteristics. You can see some options here. That is called search help. So search help nothing but here you can see an option, right? If you
Yes,
click
sir.
on this, it will show some help screen. There it will display the values, possible values. Whatever the values we can select. So we just select the value instead of entering manually. Okay. So this is the F4 help option. So that F4 help we can assign here in the domain level. So whatever the field you are using the same data element, this F4 help will be automatically applied. So it's a very important interview question. How to add F4 help? So once the F4 help is created, once the search help is created, so that search help name we provide in the data element in further characteristics. Okay, is everyone clear?
Yes.
There is one more important concept called parameter ID that we'll discuss later. Okay, it's also very important property of the table fields. Okay, change document, input history, everything we'll discuss later. Okay,
Sir, how to add
next.
such help for detailment?
Sorry, no, that is not mandatory now. So when we work on such helps, then we'll add it here. Okay, then we'll see how to add it in the data elements. For now, it is not required. Okay.
Sir, fine.
Hmm. Search help is a separate concept. First, we need to create search helps and then we need to see how we can use it in the table fields. Next, go to field label. Here we need to provide short description of the field, medium description of the field, and a long description of the field, and heading. Heading nothing but report headings. When we display the data in report format, right? If you want to see any report headings, column headings, we need to provide these details: short, medium, long, and heading. When we are working on the reports, right, you can observe the difference. What happens when you provide only short description? What happens when you provide only medium, long? Right? You can observe when we are working on reports, right? But if you do not use data element, you cannot display the report headings, description of the column. It's not going to be displayed by default. Okay, so that is why we need field labels. So we need to provide the field labels in the data element level. What is the data element? Employee id, right? Short description emp id, medium employee, long description, heading also I'm giving as employee id. So when we are working the reports, you can observe the difference, right? How short, medium, and long description will work. Save the data element, save into a package. For now I am saving into a local package. Activate the data element. Always make sure to activate data element and domain. Okay, always make sure to activate data element and domain. Clear? You cannot use inactive data elements and domains in the table. Okay, data element is ready, right? Yes or no? It is active and it is ready. Now what I need to do? Go to the table. Either you can create a new table and do the process, or for now I'll just assign to the existing table. Okay. Instead of built-in type, I'll enter the data element name here and press enter. Right. Whatever the semantic and technical attributes, right, it will automatically apply to this particular column. Okay. Is everyone clear? Or if you want to see, I'll remove these details and do the process. Okay. What is the next column?
Employee.
When you are creating the table, instead of using built-in types, directly use data elements. Okay. Next column is employee ID. Do we need to create domain and data element for every column?
You can reduce the administration
Hmm.
domain and data.
First
Okay,
you can
already
check. First you can check, is there any standard domain and data elements are available? Is there any standard data elements or domains available? Or some other developer already created any custom data element or domain for employee name? If it is already available, you don't need to create. First search for it. How to search? For example, I would like to search any custom data elements available for employee id. How I can search? Enter z. All custom objects will start with z, right? Star name and star, and press F4. You can also do the same in the data type option in S11. F4. Looks like no matching data available. Let's try for all Z stars. There are only few custom domains available in the system. Right? One is phone number, some other details, right? Student ID, some order number. There are only few custom domains available. So name data element is not available, right? You can also search for standard without using Z F4. So it will display all standard data elements, whatever starts with whatever the data element contains name as a column. Okay, somewhere it should contain name. That's why we use stars, right? We enclose with stars. So it will display the standard data elements available with this matching criteria. So I'm clear that there is no standard data element available or a custom data element available for this column. Then I'm going to create a new data element. Okay. Do not create data elements for every column. First check for the existing ones which are already available in the system. Okay. Now for your practice, create your own. Do not wait, check for the standard ones, existing ones. Okay. Use your own data elements. Okay. There is another approach. You can also reuse data elements which are already available in a standard tables. For example, go to SC11, open, we are already familiar with KNA1 table. Now check the columns of the KNA1. Is there any name field? Is there any name field here?
Yes,
No.
yes,
There is one name field, right?
yes.
And they have assigned one data element here. So if you think you are providing same information in your custom table, copy this data element and paste it here. Okay, it will apply those details automatically. Okay, you do not need to enter, you do not need to create a new data element every time. Now we have a city column, right? Do we have any this one ORT01? There is a standard data element already available for city, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
We can
Yes,
simply
sir.
reuse it instead of creating a new data element and domain. Okay.
Sir, while we use that star name, these
Hmm.
details are displayed.
Sorry.
These are standard data.
Right.
While we use that star
You're
case
right.
instruction.
Looks like someone did some configuration to select only these details. Z data student list with the numerical 10. Looks like someone saved this configuration. Let me delete this. Someone saved this selection in the system. That's why it is not showing the others.
Okay.
No, again, I need to remove the data type. It should not limit to the only numerical 10. Hmm. Now it is displaying. Only thing is you need to search for it. Now it should display name star F4. Oh,
Sir, can we check with short description?
no, we cannot. We cannot check with short description.
Okay.
We can only check with technical name. Looks like someone provided some default values. I'm trying to delete it. Continue. Someone did some changes to the standard thing. That's why it is not displaying the complete list. Now try. Continue. Now it will display the complete list. So every data element contains a name. Okay. Or if you want to see the data element name starts with the name, just use like this name star and F4. Continue. So it will display all the data elements starts with name. Okay. Employee, last name, company name, name of the company, right? All the name fields you can see. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now let's assume we do not have a standard or custom field available, sorry, data element available for our requirement. We need to create a new data element and domain. We have a different approach of creating data elements and domains. Okay, let's see that. You do not need to create the domain first, and you do not need to go to S11 again to create the data element or domain. Just enter the name here, whatever the data element you want to create, ZDemo emp name. Press enter. Is this available? Is this data element available? It is saying it is not active. That
No.
means it is not available. Double click on it. So it will give you an option to create the data element. Yes, create it. Create the data element. Provide the what details we need to provide in the data element. Semantic details like short description, employee, name. What are the other details? Field label.
Sir, domain.
I'll show you it. Do we have a domain already created for this?
No.
Let's search for the existing standard domains or custom domains which are already available, right? You can search for any standard domain available for this requirement for employee name. Search like this, same process, right? Partner name, name of the object. There are some objects available. If it is suitable, if you think this is suitable, select it. Otherwise, search for domains starts with Z, that means custom domains, and somewhere it contains name. Looks like there are multiple domain names available. There is one domain, ZD name, employee name, right? We can reuse it, right? EMP name. We can reuse this domain, right? Instead of creating new, we can reuse
Yes.
if you think that is suitable to your requirement. So, right? So let's assume there is no suitable domain. How to create a domain? Do you need to go to S11 again? No. Just enter domain name, press enter. What it is saying? No active domain available. Now what we need to do? Double click on this to create the domain from here. Save it in the local object, create the domain, provide the description of the domain. Okay, data type. And I'm making it as a case sensitive. Okay,
Employee name.
sorry, name, right? Activate the domain, go back, go back to the data element. Now technical attributes are assigned to the data element, but data element is not active. Activate the data element. If the data element is active, go back to the table. So it is assigned data element length to the table. Is everyone clear? We have two approaches. Create domain and data element separately in SE11, assign here, that is top-down approach. Or bottom-up approach. Create from the table itself. You do not need to go to separate screen to create the data element and domain. Create from here itself. Which one is easier?
Second one from table
Second
it
one
will
is
be.
easy and convenient, right? You don't need to navigate to different screens.
Okay, sir. Which is mostly preferred?
Sorry, which is?
Mostly preferred. Like,
Prefer as per your convenience. Which one
okay.
is going to save your time, right?
Okay.
Anyway, you are creating the same details, right?
Yes.
You are providing same details in the top-down approach or bottom-up approach, but navigation is different, right? But you are creating the same objects with same details. Any approach is fine, whichever is convenient for you. Okay?
Amar, small doubt.
Again, next column, phone number. Again, search for the existing standard domains or existing custom domains. You do not need to search, but for now, create your own data elements and domains without using existing. There is one data element with phone number. What is the data type? Numerical 10. Can we use this data element for this phone number?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And there is one dependency. Make sure there is no fixed values or value restrictions in this domain. Okay? That requirement may be specific to a particular table. That's why they restricted few values in the domain level. That domain we cannot reuse because your table requirement might be different, right? So you need to make sure that.
Amar, how can we conclude that we can use it or not?
Sorry.
How can we conclude how can we confirm that the existed data element or domain can be reused? How can we confirm by to our needs and
Yeah, how can we confirm means
yes.
usually we do not create different domains and data elements in projects, right?
Okay.
So we use specific names. We do not create many multiple duplicate names for data element domains because whenever we are creating a technical specifications itself, we define what is the name we are going to provide and what is the data element we are going to provide so that everyone will reuse it. Okay, instead of
Yeah.
creating new data elements and domains. And how
Yeah,
can
but
you make sure it is using somewhere? Is go to this data element, double click on it. Observe this, it's a very important option. We are in data element screen. There is a option called where user list. Where user list. If you want to check what are all the tables we are using this data element, select the tables and click on continue. In how many tables we are using? Two
four.
tables, ZDMP data and
Exactly.
ZTest creations,
Okay.
right? So that's how you can make sure, yes, this is the proper data element we are using in all existing tables. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
you can also do the same for domain. Go to domain and check where is the list where we are using this domain. Okay, we are using in one data element. You can do the same for tables where we are using these tables in which application program we are calling this table. You can do where is the list in many objects. Okay.
Okay.
So
Sir, if in
I'm just reusing the existing data element here. I'm not creating a new one. Next,
And
city.
Amar, one more query. Once we created the data element and domain, can we edit that changes that we want to make it later? Like
Can you
you
can
said, like
you
case sensitive, right?
can you repeat it, please?
Yeah. Once we created data element and domain, and we assign to the table, right? And if we want to make any changes, can we change it later once the
You can change it. You
data?
can
Yeah.
change it. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You can change it, but again, you need to transport the changes to development, test, and to production. Okay, but you
Okay.
can change it all the custom data elements and domains. But there is
Okay.
one dependency when you change the data type and length to existing table which is already having some data. You need to use some special feature to activate the database table again. Okay, because the table will be inactive because you are changing the definition of the table data type and length, okay,
Yeah.
which is already
Yeah.
containing some data. We need to follow
Yeah.
one simple step to activate the table. I'll show you later. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
City, do we need to create a new data element for city?
We can use the existing
Again,
ones.
search for the existing data element. There is one data element available, Z city, but someone provided only length 15. I don't think it is adequate. There is a standard data element. We observed that in the KNA1 table. What is the data element? ORT01 underscore GP. Also observe domain. They are taking as text 35. Double click on the domain to observe the properties. Character 35. Case sensitive option is selected. That means so city value is case sensitive. If you enter in the uppercase, it will accept only in uppercase. If you enter in the lowercase, it will accept the value in the lowercase. Also observe the value range. Yeah, there is no fixed values and value ranges. If you don't want this city name as a case sensitive field, can we use this domain and data element ORT01?
This is standard.
Yeah, standard, but you don't want a case sensitive option,
Yes, we can.
but it will apply case sensitive option, right?
Yes.
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 In this case, you may need to go for a different data element domain, okay? Because you don't want case sensitive option in your scenario. In this case, even though we have a standard data element and domain, we cannot use it.
Okay.
Sir, if it is a custom domain, we can
So
update
we
it.
can change it. We can change, but also make sure you are not disturbing the other requirements, right? They might assign case sensitive option for a different requirement, right? That
Yes.
dependency analysis you need to do before changing. Anytime you are changing data element and domain, you are going to impact some database object. Okay, make sure do the dependency check and change it. Okay, don't think about only your table. Okay, because we are using these data elements and domains in many tables and right other objects. You need to check the dependency analysis before going to change it. Okay,
Okay.
sorry. Second. Okay, sorry. So for now, we'll use ORT01 GPI thing, right? Our assigned city, I'm using standard data element that's called city in my table. Okay. Now for email ID, again do the same analysis. Is there any existing data element and domain available for email? If it is there, use it. Otherwise, create your own data element and domain. I'll quickly create a data element for email ID. It is not available. Double click on it. Yes. Email. You can use the same data element in different tables, right? Field label is email. I'm using same heading. Again, domain zdemo email. No active domain available. Save it. Create the domain. Provide the data type. I'll give around 50 characters as email ID. If you want to make it case sensitive, use case sensitive option. So I don't want it as a case sensitive. Activate the domain. Save it in a package. And then activate the data element. Okay. Now go back. So data element is assigned to the field. Again, do the same for date of join. No active domain available. Double click on the data element to create a new data element. Date of join.
Sir, can we create fields using both the data element, this method and built-in method in one table?
Yeah, you can create. Again, built-in type is not recommended. Okay.
Not recommended, but there is a possibility.
That yeah, you can create. Yes,
Okay.
that is possible. Oh, sorry, I have to provide domain, right? Yeah. Let's see. It's a date field, right? Date of join date field, right? I do not need to use any case sensitive option for dates, right? I do not want to use any fixed values or value ranges. Simply, instead of creating a domain, what I'll do, dates, I'll simply select the built-in type in the data element level and activate it without creating the domain. Go back. It is completed, right? We have assigned data elements to the all columns, all table columns. Now activate the table. It is showing some error. Why I'll tell you. If you are creating it as a new table, it won't show any error. Okay. I'll show you why it is showing the error. Let me check the error log. What it is saying? What it is saying?
Structure change at field level.
Structure change at field level. Why it is saying so? What is the actual data type and length we have taken for employee? Sorry, not employee, but few other columns. We changed here, right? When we are creating, so I think for city we have used character 40, but now we change it to character 35 since we are using a data element that contains character 30. And email ID also we have changed the data type. Sorry, length. Yes or no? We changed
Yes.
it, right? So we changed the existing table technical properties like data type and length. That is why we need to adjust the backend database table. Someone asked a question, right? Can we change data type and length later? Yes, that is possible. That's what we did now. Then it won't active directly. It will show error. Which error it will display? If you click on continue, structure change at the field level error it will display. That means there is a change in the database structure level. So what we need to do to fix it? Please remember, it's very important interview question. Whenever you do the database data type and length changes, you need to activate and adjust the database table. What we need to do? By using database utility, You need to activate and adjust the database table. It's very important interview question. Okay. What is the transaction code for database utilities? Since I have already created this table yesterday and now I did some changes, right? So that's why it is showing this error. But when you are creating it for the first time, right, you won't see this scenario. Okay. Go to SC11. Sorry. What is the transaction code? SC14. What is the table we need to adjust? This is a demo employee. Sorry. Edit. What is the option we need to select? Do you need to keep the data? Do you need to keep the data and adjust the database table, or do you need to delete the data, whatever the data available in the table, and activate the table? So you need to select that specific option. Okay.
It's a
So I just want to adjust the database table without deleting the data. That's why select persist data option. Okay. But if you reduce the data, if you reduce the length of the column, right, is it going to impact the values which are already there in the database table or not?
It will impact.
It will impact. Persist means you are accepting it. Okay, let it remove few characters. Depends on the data type change. Sorry, length change. You are accepting it. Okay, but otherwise delete the complete data and create from the beginning. Okay, activate and adjust the database table option. You need to select. Yes, actually, it will make these changes in the backend database level. Okay, it will adjust that table which is created in the backend. Now go and check your table. Activate the table now. Table is activated. It is very important interview question as well. Whenever you do any changes to the table structure, for example, removing the existing primary keys or adding new primary keys, changing the data type and length, what option you need to use? Database utility SC14 to activate and adjust the database table. Okay, not for the first time. When you are creating the table, once you created the table, maintained some data in it, using it in your applications, then after some time you wanted to change the length or primary keys, then you need to activate and adjust the database tables. Okay, clear? Is everyone clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Now we have another table, right? Employee salary table. Let's quickly change this also. Usually, like I'm changing the tables, but you are going to create it from the beginning. Instead of built-in types, I'll go with data elements. Do I need to create a new data element for employee ID?
Not required.
Not required. Just use the existing data element. Okay, and for employee salary date, but depends, you may need to create one data element. It is not already available. I'm not going to use any domain because it's just a date field, right? Field label, maintain the field label.
Sir, in this case, can we go with the built-in for this field?
That's what I'm going with built-in only because it's just a date column, right? You do not need to use any case sensitive option. You do not need any other fixed values, value ranges, right? So you can go with built-in type. It's just a date column, right? But not recommended, but always create your own domain whenever you are creating a data element in domain. Okay. Salary. Double click to create the data element. Okay. Maintain the field label. What is the data type for this column?
Yeah.
Sorry, which one?
With integer.
For now, we'll take integer. We can also take packed decimal. But when we take packed decimal, we need to provide the unit and sorry, currency reference. We'll see that concept in the next class. For now, we'll take integer.
Okay.
Because and currency and quantity fields required reference unit. I'll take I'll take into two. Number of characters 5, 5-digit salary you can provide. Output length is 6, including sign. So do you want to display the sign or not? Plus or minus sign. If you want to display the sign, use this sign option. Okay? Because integer can accept positive and negative values, right? Both. If you want to display sign, select the sign option. There is no decimal places for integer type. Activate it. For example, I'll just show you how can we use value ranges. If you want to restrict the salary between only certain amount, for example, 10,000 to 99,999 within 1 lakh. If you want to restrict it, oh, looks like it is greater value. Maybe I'll restrict it to up to 70,000. Will accept. Activate the table, activate the domain. Just want to show you how can we use these fixed values. Okay, it's more than the limit. Let me change I'll make it int 4. Okay, now it will accept this value range. We'll make it 999. Check the domain. Output length is 6, less than calculated output length. Uh, Looks like the output length is not changed. Okay, let's change the output length to 10. Or if you want to keep it as it is, do not need to change. Activate the domain because we have taken less output length, right? That's why it is showing. Including sign, the output length should be 11. Okay, including sign. That's why it is showing that information. Anyway, ignore it. Activate the data element. Go back. Now you have assigned the data element. Activate the table. Table is active. So earlier, why we got the error, right? Activation error. We changed the primary key data element and length. We assigned some data element, right? That is right. That's why it's shown some error, activation error. That's why it is asking for active and adjust. Now let's check the data browser here. Press F4. From where this value is coming from? 1000 to 999, 99,999. This coming from domain values. Okay. There is no F4 help for employee ID because there is no fixed values for employee domain. In the domain level, there is no fixed values. For salary, there is a fixed value. We have added a fixed value range between 10,000 to 99,999. Did we add any fixed values to the salary date? No, right? Still it is showing domain because date data type will automatically show this F4 help to select the date. Okay. Is everyone clear? These are we create data elements and domains. If there is any activation error, we go to database utility in SC14 to active and adjust the database tables. Is everyone clear?
Yes.
Yes.